Okay, I think I finally pieced together what I want to say and how I want to say it, so hopefully it makes sense to you guys. But first of all, I hope that you guys are doing good and having a good week. Um, and yeah, I guess we'll just jump right into it. So we've been talking about shining God's light to everyone really around us, and we've been talking about maybe some of the baskets that hinder or trap our light from like reaching like a great amount of people, like a good amount of people. And so one of the baskets that I have been kind of convicted about lately, actually this week, and something that I kind of want to share with you guys is the basket of temptations. Temptations come in many shapes and sizes in many different situations, but me personally, I find myself constantly just giving into temptations. I mean, it's hard to resist, you know? You're faced with maybe a choice that doesn't seem like that easy or fun or enjoyable, and then versus like sitting on your bed watching Netflix for a couple of hours and just kind of forgetting about the world. Like, which one sounds better, you know? But I think what we really need to do is just focus on what's important and prioritize, reevaluate the priorities in our lives. And I think it's something that the quarantine has really helped me with, because it's kind of taken out a lot of the distractions in my life. And in other ways, not really, because I'm like, oh, I have so much time. I'm just gonna, watch Netflix, and I'm gonna do some homework, and I'm gonna read and whatever. And then by the end of the day, I'm like, wait, did I even do my devotional today? Whoops. And so it's just those kind of temptations that lead us astray and maybe prohibit us from either spending some quiet time with God or doing something with someone or texting someone or talking to someone and sharing God's light with them. So, yeah, I just wanted to talk to you guys about it a little bit today. I'm not quite sure how to start, but I guess I'll just jump in. I guess I already kind of talked about this a lot, but I'm a person that gives easily into temptations, and it's probably one of my greatest downfalls, I would say, as a human being. I think we are all tempted by different things, and it's definitely a temptation there's definitely temptations in everybody's lives. But yeah, I've just been really feeling like I've been making some decisions lately that probably I shouldn't be making. And so I was convicted by this verse. I can't remember what morning it is, but it was in one of my daily readings. And I wanted to share it with you guys because it kind of gave me a wake-up call. It's James 4:17. It says, "If anyone then knows the good they ought to do and doesn't do it, it is a sin for them." And like, I'm just gonna tell you that every situation that I choose to do something else, I know it. Do you know that feeling in like your chest or your stomach or your heart where you're just like, yeah, I should not be doing this. I should be doing this right now, but I'm not. And I get that feeling a lot. And I always end up choosing the wrong choice. I wouldn't say always, but I end up choosing the wrong choice a lot because of temptations in my life and like other things that I'm placing to be like in a higher value rather than sharing my light. And so, yeah, this verse made me feel a little guilty, but don't feel guilty. Just use it as a wake-up call and a call to action of like, wait, how can I fix this, And so I was actually pretty thankful that I stumbled across this verse. I didn't stumble. God put it right in my path. There's a big rock right in my path that I just face planted over. But that was good. It kind of opened up this whole new door for me of like, okay, how do I stop constantly like giving in to temptation? Like, it seemed pretty overwhelming to me because I have a lot of temptations in my life in terms of like, oh my goodness, there's always something I could be studying for, and I want to have time to myself that I'm going to enjoy, like Netflix or reading a book, or I want to go bake this thing that I've been wanting to bake for a long time, or whatever. There's just like all of these temptations that I'm like constantly faced with, and I'm like, like, how do I stop this? Because it's so hard, and it's way easier said than done. But I did a little digging this week, and I found some verses that have really helped me kind of maybe prioritize some things in my life and given me some strategies to use to resist temptations. And one of those verses is Galatians 5:16, and if you have a Bible, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, you can get out your Bible, but I'm going to be jumping around a little bit, so if you just want to listen to the verse, I'll read it to you. So Galatians 5:16, it says, "So I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh." And I think this is a really great verse, and it kind of is the answer of like, how do we resist these temptations? And it says, if you walk by the Spirit, you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. But easier said than done, right? I mean, like, still that choice of like, hey, I should go talk to this person that I don't really necessarily like, but I feel led to talk to, or watching Netflix, on your couch for 10 hours and just enjoying yourself. Like, which one sounds better, But I think that this, by choosing to just take that step off the cliff and just doing it, just being like, okay, I'm just going to go talk to this person. Doing it once can kind of help you get into a habit and to where you're doing it more regularly. And it's in that James verse, I want to just read it again. Oh, dang it, I just lost it. Oh, there, I found it again. Okay, if anyone then knows the good they ought to do and doesn't do it, it is sin for them. Well, if you know what you should be doing and you do it, you feel so good inside. If you make that choice, that one choice, you feel so good, And so that's something that I encourage you guys to do as well. But it kind of opens up this whole thing about like, how do we walk in the Spirit, And I think the number one answer to that is just constantly focusing and prioritizing Jesus and glorifying God and sharing your light with everyone else above everything else that you do. Like, that is your number one priority. And so the way that we can do this is through spending time with God, focusing on the Word, and praying to Him, just kind of developing that relationship, and that can help you to focus and make it maybe more of your goal. And so even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes, you just like read a few verses or whatever, just can kind of put things in perspective and help you to focus on what's truly important. And I don't know if you're a person that just likes to open up the Bible and see where God leads you, or if you like to be more scheduled like me, you can find a Bible reading plan, but like whatever, like if you're not doing it right now, like get on this, because I think it's so important. And if you are already doing it, keep going. And just be faithful in it, because I think that you'll really start to see changes in your life. Even if you dread doing it for a little bit, I think that you will really like how it turns out. So I just wanted to really end with one last verse that is kind of gives you hope, because this is overwhelming for sure. Like I already mentioned, like sometimes walking in the Spirit leads you into things that you don't want to do. And sometimes you take, like we were talking about last week or on Wednesday, about like sometimes you take that leap of faith and you tell someone about Jesus and it doesn't seem to get through to them or whatever. Like sometimes these things they result in they're just unsuccessful, and then you're wishing that you would have chosen to stay home and watch Netflix or whatever. But this verse can give you hope. It's 1 Corinthians 10:13, and it's, "No temptation has overtaken you except for what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, he will also provide a way out so that you can endure it." And that is super hopeful for me because, first of all, I know that God isn't going to leave me when I'm being tempted. He's right there, and he's not going to let me be tempted beyond what I can bear. I might be really, really tempted to do something, and it might feel like you can't resist it, but you are capable of a lot more than you think you are. It's kind of like that saying about, like, you never know how fast you run until a lion's chasing you or whatever. Like, you are capable of so much more than you think you are. And if you just keep pushing and rely on the strength that God gives you, you can totally just set those temptations aside. And it also says that he'll provide a way out so that you can endure it. He's going to give you the tools that you need to resist the temptations. And I think the tool that he's given us is this Bible and prayer and all of the things that help us to stay strong in our faith and really prioritize it. So that would be my challenge for you guys this week, is to just make God a priority in your life and use it as a motivation to do maybe some of these things that we like to do, like being on your phone or hanging with friends or whatever hobbies you do. If you have homework to do or whatever, like, use it as a motivator and kind of do all of these things in the context of glorifying God and sharing your light. So yeah, that's kind of the message that I really wanted to give to you today. I hope that you guys got something from it, and I hope that you guys try to maybe read your Bible every day this week, even if it's just 5 minutes, and really focus on Jesus. And if you are someone like me who really needs to reevaluate your priorities, sometimes I like to just write it out in a list, like, what's number 1, what's number 2, what's number 3, and it just helps solidify it for me. So maybe that works for you too. Some other things that you can do to, like, resist temptation, like, right then, because maybe you aren't thinking, oh no, like, my goal is to, like, shine my light, blah, blah, blah. Maybe you're not thinking about that in the moment, but that feeling that you get inside of, like, hey, I should be doing this. Get up and do it. Just don't even think about it. Just do it. And once you take that first step, it'll get easier to make more of the right choices. So yeah. I'm going to have some discussion questions hopefully developed by Wednesday for you guys to think about. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on it. I hope that this went well. I hope that you got something from it, because this is my first time giving a lesson and I don't really know what I'm doing. But yeah, hopefully you guys got something from it. And I will see you for the game night tomorrow on Sunday. So see you guys then.